Embracing your identity, the power of walking in purpose. Welcome to an extraordinary journey of self discovery and empowerment. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to share insights from my transformative conversation with Krysti Lawson, a revolutionary force in professional development who has dedicated her life to empowering Black professionals to stand confidently in their truth. Krysti isn't just an advocate, she's a visionary who sees beyond the limitations society places on us, particularly Black women. Her work has quite literally changed the trajectory of countless careers and, more importantly, lives. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt that subtle pressure to make yourself smaller? That instinctive urge to soften your voice, modify your language, or conceal essential parts of who you are? That feeling, that gut wrenching instinct to diminish your presence, is something far too many of us know intimately, especially Black women, especially in professional spaces where fitting in often seems like the only path to success. But what if I told you that the very qualities you're trying to suppress might actually be your greatest assets? What if your authentic voice, your unique perspective, your lived experience, all the things that make you distinctively you are precisely what the world needs? This profound truth emerged repeatedly during my conversation with Krysti Lawson. Her groundbreaking work illuminates something essential. Embracing your identity isn't merely about self acceptance, though that's certainly valuable. It's about unlocking your full potential and walking confidently in your purpose. When we discuss identity in professional environments, we're typically taught compartmentalization, keep personal matters private, maintain professionalism, don't bring your whole self to work. This advice, while well intentioned, can be profoundly damaging, particularly for Black professionals already navigating spaces where they're underrepresented and often misunderstood. Maya Angelou wisely said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." Today, we know better. We understand that authenticity isn't just personally fulfilling, it's professionally powerful and absolutely necessary for true innovation and progress. In my illuminating conversation with Krysti, she emphasized that walking in purpose requires first acknowledging who you truly are, not who others expect you to be, not who might be more palatable in certain spaces, but your authentic, unfiltered, gloriously complex self. Let's examine what this looks like in practice. The Real Black in HR initiative reveals a troubling reality. Many Black professionals aren't negotiating job offers due to systemic barriers and internalized doubt. This hesitation leads to missed opportunities and perpetuates financial inequities that can follow individuals throughout their entire careers. Consider that for a moment. How many of us have accepted the first offer presented because we were conditioned to be grateful just for having a seat at the table? How many have been told explicitly or implicitly that asking for more is being difficult or demanding or not a team player? This isn't just about compensation, it's about recognizing your worth and developing the confidence to advocate for it. It's about understanding that your skills, your experience, your unique perspective, they have value, real, tangible, measurable value. The Real Black in HR is actively dismantling this narrative by equipping Black professionals with the negotiation skills and resources for career advancement. The outcomes? Improved financial security and greater career satisfaction. But perhaps most significantly, a fundamental shift in mindset from gratitude for any opportunity to unwavering confidence in one's worth. This is what embracing your identity looks like in action. It's not just about feeling good, though that matters tremendously. It's about tangible outcomes that improve your life and create pathways for those who will follow in your footsteps. But embracing your identity isn't always straightforward, especially when facing deeply entrenched systemic barriers. Black women in leadership positions understand this profoundly. They navigate environments where they're often the only one, the only Black person, the only woman, or both. They face biases, both subtle and overt, from being mistaken for administrative staff to having their ideas dismissed only to be praised when repeated by someone else minutes later. Yet many have found ways to thrive despite these challenges. How? By building confidence through rigorous self reflection, by creating and leveraging powerful networks, by seeking out mentorship, and by refusing to diminish themselves to make others comfortable with their brilliance. Christy emphasized in our conversation that this journey isn't about fitting into existing structures. It's about recognizing that those structures weren't built with you in mind, and then having the audacity and courage to create your own path anyway. The impact of this approach extends far beyond individual success. When Black women embrace their identities and walk confidently in their purpose, they create ripple effects throughout their organizations and communities. They become visible examples of what's possible, mentors for those coming up behind them, and advocates for systemic change that benefits everyone. This brings me to another powerful example: the Black Professionals in International Affairs Organization, or BPIA. This remarkable group addresses the limited representation of Black professionals in global affairs by providing targeted leadership training and creating vital networking opportunities. International affairs has historically been a field dominated by certain demographics, with limited pathways for Black professionals to enter and advance. But BPIA is rewriting that narrative by creating spaces where Black professionals can develop their skills, build meaningful connections, and access opportunities that might otherwise remain closed to them. The result? Increased representation and success for Black professionals on the global stage. This isn't just beneficial for those individuals, it's transformative for the field as a whole, which desperately needs diverse perspectives and experiences to address increasingly complex global challenges. Again, we see how embracing identity and walking in purpose creates both personal and collective benefits that extend far beyond what we might initially imagine. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds wonderful in theory, but how do I actually implement this? How do I embrace my identity and walk in my purpose when I'm facing real barriers and genuine risks to my livelihood? It's a valid question that deserves a thoughtful consideration. And while there's no universal formula, there are principles that can guide your journey. First, self reflection is non negotiable. You cannot embrace an identity you haven't explored deeply. Take time to consider: what are your core values? What brings you authentic joy? What makes you feel most alive and engaged? What unique perspectives do you bring to conversations that others might miss? Second, find your community. None of us can do this challenging work in isolation. Seek out mentors, peers, and organizations that understand your experience and can provide support, guidance, and opportunities when institutional doors remain closed. The Deloitte Gen Z and Millennial Survey reveals something significant here. Younger generations are increasingly prioritizing growth, learning, and financial security in their career decisions. They intuitively understand that financial stability isn't separate from purpose, it's the foundation that enables purpose to flourish. This interconnectedness was something Krysti Lawson highlighted beautifully in our conversation. Walking in purpose doesn't mean sacrificing practical concerns. It means aligning your work with your values in ways that sustain you both financially, and spiritually. Third, develop your skills relentlessly. Confidence stems from competence. Invest in your professional development, whether through formal education, certifications, or self directed learning. The more skilled you become, the more confidently you'll assert your worth in any room. Four, practice courage daily. Embracing your identity in spaces that weren't designed for you requires tremendous bravery. Start small if necessary. Speak up in a meeting when you have something valuable to contribute. Correct someone who mispronounces your name. Ask for what you deserve in a negotiation. Each act of courage builds upon the last until it becomes second nature. And finally, remember that this is a journey, not a destination. There will inevitably be setbacks. There will be days when shrinking yourself feels safer than standing in your power. That's completely understandable. What matters is that you keep returning to your truth, keep reconnecting with your purpose, keep moving forward, even when progress feels painfully slow. As Audre Lorde powerfully stated, if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. This captures the essence of embracing your identity, defining yourself for yourself, rather than allowing others to define you based on their limited understanding or comfort. In my transformative conversation with Krysti Lawson, she shared a perspective that continues to resonate deeply. When we fully embrace our identities, we don't just change our own lives, we fundamentally alter the world around us. We create new possibilities, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who witnesses us standing boldly in our truths. Consider the profound impact of seeing someone who looks like you succeeding in a field where you've been told repeatedly that you don't belong. Think about how that single example can completely reshape what you believe is possible for yourself and generations to come. This is why representation matters so profoundly. This is why organizations like the Real Black in HR, BPIA, and advocates like Krysti Lawson are so vital to our collective progress. They're not just supporting individual careers, they're reshaping our collective imagination about who belongs where and what's possible for communities that have been systematically excluded. I don't want to leave you with this challenge. What would your life look like if you embraced every aspect of your identity without apology? What could you accomplish if you walked confidently in your purpose every single day? What barriers, internal or external, are currently limiting your potential? And most importantly, what one courageous step will you take today toward living more authentically? The world doesn't need more people playing small. It doesn't need more voices silenced by fear. What our troubled world desperately needs is you fully expressed, brilliantly authentic, and courageously walking in your unique purpose. Your voice matters. Your perspective matters. Your presence matters. And the gifts that only you can bring are precisely what we need to create the more just, equitable, and vibrant world we all deserve. The time for hiding is over. The time for diminishing yourself is finished. Today is the day to stand in your truth, to embrace your complete identity, and to begin the exhilarating journey of walking boldly in your purpose. The world is waiting, and we need you, all of you, now more than ever.